Hello, this is Freethought Forum, a program by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee. I am Alita.
And I'm Faithless Forrest, and we want you to know that if you don't believe in God, you're not alone. Right here in East Tennessee, you can find free-thinking atheists and agnostics. This is a show for them and for people interested in living a life free of supernatural beliefs.
On today's show, we will be talking with Jennifer Lovejoy of the Atheist Alliance of America.
But first, we want to tell you a little bit about the sponsors of our show. The Atheist Society of Knoxville frequently has a fun meetup at a bar or eatery. Tonight's meetup is at Barley's in the Old City. Starting around 5:30, look for the silver-jacketed copy of The God Delusion standing upright on the table. And as Matt Dillahunty at Atheist Experience says, everyone is welcome to our happy hour for food, drink, and conversation. But if you plan to preach, proselytize, provoke, or punch, please don't.
The Rationalists of East Tennessee have several regular monthly meetings. The first and third Sunday mornings of the month are usually lectures with lively roundtable discussions. The second Sunday we hold a Skeptics Book Club. On the fourth Sunday we are mixing it up. Sometimes with a get-together we call a reflections meeting in someone's house. It features a potluck lunch. And sometimes we meet for other activities.
Later in the show we will give you our websites to visit for additional details, including times and locations. So, Alita, we're going to go into the news?
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, we have ongoing news from Kentucky. Roane County Clerk Kim Davis is being sued by two gay couples. Davis objects to the same-sex marriage and will not issue marriage license while she takes her case to a federal appeals court. U.S. District Judge Dave, I think it's Bunning, reversed his ruling to issue the couple's licenses. Bunning said Monday that Davis is not entitled to more time before complying or resigning. But with emotions running high on both sides of the debate, he delayed his order anyway.
Davis has refused to grant marriage licenses to anyone in Rowan County since the U.S. Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. Kentucky's governor ordered her to issue the licenses immediately or resign. She told the judge that after consulting God, she decided she could not comply.
Stays of court orders are common to maintain the status quo pending an appeal, but in this case, the delay enables the continuation of an unlawful policy, the plaintiff's attorneys complained.
Davis faces fines and a possible jail sentence for contempt of court if she loses the lawsuit. But she can only be impeached from her $80,000 a year job by the state legislature, and lawmakers will not reconvene until January.
In the meantime, all couples in Roane County, Kentucky will be denied their rights to a marriage license. So that has me wondering, how in the world can they possibly think that that's something like religious freedom, that a government official gets to decide that a whole county can't have marriage license?
Unfortunately, while the appeal is waiting to go to trial, everything's on hold.
All righty.
Meanwhile, in Florida, Orange County Public Schools spent $86,164.68 paying its attorney to defend a lawsuit filed by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. They could have saved that money and spent it on 861,645 number 2 pencils, 47,869 elementary school student meals, or nearly 400 Chromebooks for students. But instead went to spending 2 years insisting on allowing a religious group to distribute Bibles to students. Their attorney should have advised them that they would lose at the outset.
The FFR's position is that the best course is to disallow all third-party literature distribution. The FFRF finds it unfortunate that Orange County Public Schools had to pay its lawyers tens of thousands of dollars to come to the same conclusion. Well, in other news, last week we remarked on how, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, how the Catholic Church had left a whole continent, Antarctica. Well, there's more news about the Catholic Church, but this time it's in Africa. Last week marked the 1-year anniversary that Africa has been free from polio.
But that may be changing. A polio vaccination campaign in Kenya faced an unlikely opponent. The country's Conference of Catholic Bishops declared a boycott of the World Health Organization's vaccination campaign, saying they needed to test whether ingredients contain a derivative of estrogen. Dr. Wahom Nagar of the Kenyan Catholic Doctors Association alleged that the presence of the female hormone could sterilize children.
Nagar has no infectious disease experience and indeed has his own children vaccinated. Spreading the fear of vaccines seems to stem more from the fear of administering organizations than from fear of the vaccines themselves.
Hopefully this boycott will be short-lived and not spread to other parts of Africa.
You know, I can't help but think that it's like they're just, they're like, female hormones. Oh my goodness, female hormones. Oh, it seems like such superstition. Imagine that, superstition in the
right,
church.
In the church.
Oh, goodness.
Well, tonight we have with us by phone Jennifer Lovejoy. Jennifer Lovejoy is a wife, mother, activist, and disabled veteran. Raised by an agnostic father and a Pentecostal Christian mother, she entered adulthood seriously questioning the biblical teachings she heard as a child. Jennifer enlisted in the Army in 1997. It was while serving in the Army that she got her first real taste of activism by marching in uniform in support of gay rights.
When medical issues abruptly ended Jennifer's military career, she and her family moved to Asheville, North Carolina. Her early retirement brought newfound free time. She immersed herself in separation of church and state issues after being shocked by the amount of biblical references in her children's schoolwork and the pamphlets sent home with her children that promoted local churches and discriminating organizations such as the Boy Scouts of America.
Jennifer's activism took a back seat after 9/11 when her husband, also a U.S. soldier, was deployed to Afghanistan. The needs of her children and family became her primary focus during her husband's absence. But the hiatus from activism was short-lived when her husband returned a year later with a spine injury. Jennifer came to realize that, as the war progressed, the idea that to be a good and proud American meant supporting the war and the troops under God. Jennifer then took up the fight to recognize atheists within the military.
Jennifer's life was forever changed in the summer of 2010 when she agreed to become the Asheville spokesperson for One Nation Indivisible billboard campaign in North Carolina. The international attention catapulted Jennifer into the spotlight and under the microscope. She's had to learn how to juggle motherhood, being a wife, and being recognized as an atheist activist on a much larger scale.
Winner of the 2012 Freethought Action Hero Award, Jennifer is now busier than ever and wears many hats. She is the Affiliate Services Manager for the Atheist Alliance of America. She is the founder and former president of the West North Carolina Humanists, former co-chair for the North Carolina chapter of the Secular Coalition for America, president of the Carolinas Secular Association, a regional organization that supports secularity in the Carolinas and surrounding states. Jennifer also sits on many other boards for organizations that focus on secular issues and humanist values, as well as national committees. Love, as her fans know her, is probably most recognized as a popular podcast personality. Her show, The Atheist Avengers, is a fan favorite.
In the future, we may see her name on a ballot for public office or running a national group. Jennifer Lovejoy is determined to change the world.
Jennifer, welcome to Freethought Forum TV. Are you there?
I am. Thank you so much for having me. And I don't think I realized how long my bio was until you started reading it. And now I feel like you don't even have to interview me. It was already all in there. Anything you could ever possibly want to know.
Well, we're still going to enjoy this hour together. And I have to ask you, Jen, about your work with Atheist Alliance of America. What do you find most rewarding about what you do?
Well, a quick story before I answer that. Last fall, we moved from Asheville, North Carolina to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Our kids are grown, gone, out of the house, and so we followed my parents to Myrtle. And when we moved, I had stepped down from pretty much all of my positions, boards I sat on, basically got rid of all my responsibilities except for the Carolina Secular Association. I needed to finish up a job I was doing for them. And I was going to keep my podcast. But basically, I was retiring from this movement. I had hit burnout. I had spread myself too thin for too long. And let's face it, many of us do that. But yeah, I was going to retire. So here I was sitting in Myrtle Beach enjoying my new life when Amy Monsky, who is the executive director for Atheist Alliance America, called me and offered me this job as the affiliate services manager. Well, how do you turn down a job working for a national organization? Especially an organization that you admire. And so my husband and I sat down and talked, and I knew that I would always regret it if I didn't take the job. And so my plan was to give them 6 months. I was going to give them everything I had, put it all on the table. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Anything that I had ever wanted to do as a local leader that I didn't have the resources or the money or the support, whatever to achieve, I was going to put all my ideas out there. So now I've been with Atheist Alliance America for over 8 months now, and no end in sight.
Oh, great.
So now my job. So my job is amazing, and in simplest terms, I support the grassroots. Atheist Alliance America is amazing when it comes to supporting the grassroots movement. Their main focus is on affiliates and what's happening local with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so my job is sometimes coming up with maybe meetup events or offering advice or resources for tabling. And sometimes my job is getting to speak at events like the one you put on over the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, that was great.
So, Jennifer, are there any other upcoming events that maybe you want to tell our viewers about?
I do. So the Carolina Secular Association, as I mentioned earlier, has their, or maybe I should say our, annual conference coming up the first weekend in October. I'm really excited because this year it's going to be held in Myrtle Beach, and this is the first time that the conference is actually going to be in the city I live in. And for any of you that organize events, when you have to drive 5 or 6 hours with all the stuff to get to the event, it's stressful because you're just sure you've forgotten something. So you wind up taking more than what you need. Anyway, so yes, it's going to be in Myrtle Beach this year, and this is going to be the biggest conference that we've done to date. Most speakers, best pricing, and it's all taking place on the beach. It doesn't get much better than that.
No.
The hotel is on the beach. All the rooms that we blocked out for the attendees has an ocean view. We're kicking off the conference on Friday night with a luau-style meet and greet that I'll be catering. And before anybody goes running and screaming, through a cooking website for over a decade, I've taught cooking classes to homeschoolers, and I've catered a lot of events, including a wedding for almost 400 people. So I can do the food. And them allowing us to do, it's going to be an out area that's really pretty that we get to decorate. And by allowing us to do this, we were able to save on cost, which is great.
Oh, great.
And you can also get a wristband for Friday night's event that entitles you to our open beer and wine bar. So that should be a lot of fun. Oh, and we're going to have a contest for asking everybody to wear the craziest Hawaiian shirt they can come up with. So we'll have some place for that. We've got 15 amazing speakers, and it would take way longer than this show would allow for me to list them all and their accomplishments. But
well, Jennifer, I was going to ask that, and I always like to be unpredictable and say, often, people will talk about the headliners, but maybe you could at least tell us one speaker who, maybe it's one of their first times that you're hoping to give visibility to. Can you think of one that might fit that description?
Yes. We have Callie Wright from the Atheist Manifesto podcast that's going to be speaking, and I am really, really excited to have her this year.
Oh, that sounds great.
All righty.
But you have another event coming up in October, too, don't you?
I do. I want to tell you a little bit more about the Carolinas Conference, if you don't mind, just because there's so much going on that weekend. I want to make sure that people get to hear everything that's going on. We're going to be showing the movie A Better Life. It was done by Chris Johnson. He's been traveling all over the world with his new movie, A Better Life. The hotel that we're hosting at has their own movie theater, So we'll be watching the movie in an actual theater with popcorn, soda, the whole 9 yards. Shelley Siegel, who is the brilliant singer-songwriter from Australia, is coming.
Oh, wow.
So we've got the awards banquet, and this year's Freethinker of the Year is Stephen Hewitt from the City of King Veterans Memorial fame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most of you remember that. We have a special award that's going out this year that's a total secret, so I can't tell you much more, but super excited about that one. And this year, for the first time ever, we're hosting a lip sync competition. And everyone is welcome to sign up and compete. And basically, you pick a song to lip sync to, and you dress up like the artist that originally did the song, and then the crowd will pick their favorite entertainer. We have what I'm sure will become the most coveted award ever for this.
And what is this coveted award? Come on.
Well, let me tell you, this award is so great. You'll be able to brag to your friends, your family, your Facebook friends, the person at the gas station, the person that bagged your groceries. It's better than like an Oscar or a Nobel Prize.
And?
This award is a glittery, shiny, gaudy microphone. It's the greatest award ever, and I know everybody really wants it. So make sure you get your tickets. This is going to be the 5th annual Carolina Secular Conference, and I'm really excited. You can go to our website to purchase it. And this year, because we're doing not just a conference, it's a vacation conference, we have a new website this year, vacaycon.com. That's vacation and conference all rolled into one, vacaycon.com. And as always, you can go to the Carolina Secular Association website.
So is this a functional microphone that might work here in a studio in Knoxville?
I'd love it.
No. Actually, we found this really silly princess microphone that made funny noises in a toy store. And my husband and I are glimpsing it up a bit.
All right, so it's been repurposed. I understand.
Yes.
All righty.
But what about that other event in October? Please tell us about that.
Okay, and so it's going to be, let me look at my calendar. I apologize. I'm so bad with dates. I really should just start stamping.
I think we got a slide with a date on it here, Sam.
The second weekend in October, Atheist Alliance America is having their conference, and that's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this year. And I'm really excited. There's some great, amazing groups down there in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as Black non-believers.
Mm-hmm.
Great speakers this year. People like Bria Crutchfield from Black Non-Believers in Detroit, Michigan, and a whole bunch of other speakers. I can't even remember everybody's name right now. And this is also what happens when you plan two conferences at the same time. There's been so many people.
Do they blend together?
They do. I have sent so many emails or Facebook messages to a speaker asking them about something. And they're like, oh, am I speaking at your conference this year? We had a discussion, and then I realized, oh, my gosh, that's the other conference.
All right.
And so, yeah,
Well,
I had to do some oopsies a few times.
well, Jennifer, viewers to our show may not always recognize that I try and prepare, but I visited the website, and I saw one of the speakers at the Atlanta conference is a Dr. Jerry, I think it's Coyne, C-O-Y-N-E.
Coyne.
I think they pronounce it
Coyne.
which I'm going to get in so much trouble for this because he's like, as famous as Richard Dawkins, and I can't even pronounce his name right. I'm really bad with that. But I mostly read things online. It's not like I hear it.
So have you met him to date, or will this be the first time you've met him?
This will be the first time I have met him.
Okay, I remember having watched a YouTube where he was speaking about evolutionary biology, and so, he was a compelling speaker.
And Atlanta's not very far from us. We can certainly go.
Yes.
And
yes.
I plan to.
All righty.
And Atlanta's a fun city, and it has an IKEA in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited because, when the conference is over, I'm totally going shopping at IKEA.
You bet. I'll be there with you. Now, the last time I saw you was at the Freethought Advance that the Rationalists of East Tennessee hosted, and you shared an amazing, it was absolutely amazing story about your process of becoming an atheist. And even though we don't have time for you to share that tonight, I do want to hear more about your fight to get religion out of your son's classrooms.
It's so funny because last night both you and I had posted on Facebook encouraging people to ask questions that we would try to work in the show. And one question was, what inspired your activism? Another was, did you raise your kids secular? And then another question was, if there was one thing you could advocate for, what would it be? And I think all of those questions just tied into what you just asked me. So I'll start by saying, yes, I raised my kids secular. I raised my kids to think and question. And I got involved in the atheist movement because of the religious material that I was seeing in classrooms and homework. I mean, that's really how I got involved to begin with. And basically, I was just a thorn in the side of every teacher, class, and school administrator that kept allowing religion to be in the classroom or be sent home. My husband thought that my kids go and graduate from like elementary school or middle school or whatever, that we were pretty sure that school threw a party because they didn't have to deal with me anymore. I was gone. I never stopped. I always picked up the phone and said, hey, look, this is happening. You can't. I'm always surprised at how confused they are by the fact that since conflict about a church with my children was bad. Like, they didn't get that was wrong. And I would often say, well, what if I said something, what if I was Muslim and I said something from our mosque? And then they would get very well, well, that would be inappropriate. Well, how is that different? Like, they don't, it's like they just couldn't get it. But, of course, so that kind of ties into, if there was one thing that you could advocate for, what would it be? And it's education. I'm sure that I should be saying to ensure our government remains secular, but since we technically is,
right.
I'm sticking with education. I really believe that America is falling behind in education, and we cannot allow religious extremists to rewrite history and include things like creationism into our education. We also hear people complaining about and putting down countries with extremist religion, especially in the Middle East, that rule those countries. And I don't think we're all that far away from that. How are we different if the Texas Board of Education can whitewash history by turning slavery into trade? Or the fact that they tried to, remove Thomas Jefferson from a list of America's key thinkers. I'm sure that has something to do with his views. And Americans need to pay attention to what's happening. Education is vital to our future.
It certainly is, and I can say that as a former educator. I spent my life making sure children were well educated and able to think and not just spew out facts that I had given them. So I appreciate that.
So Jennifer, you raised your children secular. Where are their grandparents on this issue?
Really good question. I lucked out. I had two very different childhoods growing up. My biological mother and her husband, my stepfather, were Pentecostal Christians, and then my dad is, he identified as agnostic. He now identifies as atheist. But I haven't had a relationship with my biological mother in about 20 years. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I had children, and I didn't want that toxic relationship, that fear-driven attitude and way of living to affect my children the way it had me. And so my family that I surround myself with has been incredibly supportive. And it's interesting, but like recently I found out that one of my grandfathers is an atheist. He had heard that I had been in the news and I had been putting some things. My mom, my stepmom, I consider her to be my mother, was up there visiting. And she was talking to him, and I guess somebody had said something about to my mom, like, well, how does that make you feel that your daughter's such an atheist activist? And my grandfather, like, stopped everybody in their tracks and said, I don't know what the big deal is. I'm an atheist. I knew I was during the war. He's a
Yay, Grandpa.
World War II veteran. And it was during World War II that he realized that he was an atheist. And so now I'm starting to think I just came by my atheism honestly.
All righty. You know, there's a kind of question I always ask every member of the service, even if it's only briefly. What was your service specialty?
Like, what did I do when I was in the military?
Yes. And then I'm going to...
I was in JAG Corps.
Okay. And that's an acronym that stands for what?
Judge Advocate General. I was in the legal
department
of the Army.
Do you know what your grandfather's specialty was in the service?
Honestly, I don't.
All right, well, next time we speak, I'm going to ask this again. So you have a question to take to him now. Tell him viewers, inquiring minds want to know.
Viewers want to know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to. It's funny. My husband probably knows because I know they've talked about the military quite a bit. All of my grandfathers were in the military, and all of them served in World War II. And none of them really wanted to talk much about it when I was growing up. But I do know that one of my grandfathers, he passed away a few years ago, but he was military police. But yeah, I'll have to ask. This is my last grandfather alive, so I will definitely have to ask him what his job was, what his MOS was.
Yeah, it's kind of important for us to talk to those older generations to find out things that we don't know, because there's going to come a time when you can't ask. Yeah, I really encourage you to do that. So, but then another question, what about your children who are grown now? Are they also secular?
Secular, yes. My eldest identifies as an atheist, but my youngest is not. He still thinks that there's something, some greater thing out there bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't like religion. He doesn't like the term God. In fact, he really doesn't like religion. He has a real issue with it. Which I just find, I guess it's so funny to me because I watch him debate all the time. And he has such an issue with religion, yet he really believes there has to be something bigger than us.
Well, there is the cosmos. It's definitely bigger. So.
That's true. You know, he's a very charismatic young man. My husband and I were really kind of watching him when he got into college and really started getting into, like, debating people and really learning a lot. We thought there for a moment he might start his own religion.
Oh, my. Well, unless you're streaming the show, I know that Faithless suggested that you turn on your computer and watch, but you won't be able to see what I'm wearing tonight. And it is a custom-made shirt you gave me, encouraging folks to share the Lovejoy. I'm going to stand up here so people can see it. I love this shirt. You've taken the flag of Tennessee and turned it into the Atheist Alliance of America, and it's just a great shirt. But I do feel like I'm sharing the Lovejoy tonight, and that Lovejoy is you. But Jen, you do a lot of things to help atheist groups around the area, and I'd really like to hear more about that.
You know, I just, not even just with my job, but all along, once I got involved in the movement, more than anything, I just try to offer support, encouragement. You know, we, as a leader, we all get exhausted sometimes. You know, sometimes we're carrying too much load, and so I really just try to offer support. I'm super bummed that I'm not in the studio and I can't see you. And I was going to make a big deal in the middle of the show. I was going to make you guys stop the show, take a picture, and post it on Facebook so I could see. But you guys did it before the show started, so we don't have to stop the show now for that. This whole idea of Share the Lovejoy was my awesome boss, Amy Moss. She came up with it. Loved the idea. I have a great last name. I love my last name.
It is a great one.
Am I remembering?
In fact,
am I remembering correctly, your husband took your name, right?
Yes, it's funny. I was just about to mention that. Yeah, when we got married, my husband took my last name. I mean, why wouldn't he? My last name was so much cooler. and originally, we were just going to do Share the Love because my nickname is Love.
Right.
But that hashtag Share the Love is really attributed to like Valentine's Day, and we needed something that stood out from that. And so, and he said, why don't we just use your whole last name? And so we hashtagged Share the Lovejoy. And so when I travel for Atheist Alliance of America, I use the hashtag and I take pictures and post them online so people can follow me and they know where I'm at. One of my first trips, my husband and I had been sitting in a car for entirely too long and we got a little bored, and so we made a little, 10 or 15 second lip sync video. There was some funny songs on the radio, so I just set my camera on my phone on the dash with the camera recording towards us, and we just lip synced and did little silly sitting in our seat dance to this and posted it online. And that wound up being probably the biggest hit of all the things. I offer support and inspiration and ideas for groups, and really the only thing anybody ever asks me for now are the lip sync videos. And so in addition to providing support and resources, I now provide very cheap silly entertainment.
Oh, that's funny. Well, this might be a good time for us to stop and take a break.
All righty. Let's see. It looks like you're up first.
I am. So in case you're just tuning in, this is Freethought Forum, a program by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee. Freethought Forum is funded jointly by them and by individual contributions. Shows are live most every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Knoxville Community Access Television Channel 12 or Channel 194, depending on your local cable network. Tell your out-of-town friends to see us streaming online at ctvknox.org.
We are live today, August 18th, 2015. Please call in now and talk with our interesting guest, Jennifer Lovejoy. And I guess, Sam, can you roll the video?
If you live in or around the Knoxville area and are questioning your religious beliefs or simply believe in one less God than everyone else, well, you're not alone. The Atheist Society of Knoxville is a fun and friendly group of people just like you that meets twice a week at a bar or restaurant. We meet every Tuesday night following the show at Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria for happy hour. You'll find our group either inside or on the patio. Look for Richard Dawkins' silver-jacketed book, The God Delusion, standing upright on the table. On Fridays, we meet at Agave Azul or the Beard and Beer Market. But if you plan to preach, proselytize, provoke, or punch, please don't. We all question what we believe at one point in our lives. If this is the time for you, come join us for food, drink, conversation, and fun. Do you find stories of talking snakes laughable? Do you prefer the scientific method over supernatural beliefs? Are you concerned about religious leaders and organizations imposing their values and rules on your body, your family, and the rest of our society? Well, take comfort in the fact that you're not alone. The Rationalists of East Tennessee meets weekly for fellowship and provides a forum for people who support skeptical thinking and rational discussion of these and other issues. To find out more information or to find out about our next meeting, visit us on the web at www.rationalist.org.
All right. The Atheist Society of Knoxville, or ASK, meets 2 times a week. We have evening meetups for fun, food, drink, and conversation. ASK's purpose is to supply a venue for community, camaraderie, and outreach to atheists, agnostics, freethinkers, and other like-minded persons in the East Tennessee area. Our Tuesday meeting is going on now at Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria in the Knoxville Old City.
The Rationalists of East Tennessee have Sunday activities involving lively presentations and discussions on topics both timeless and topical. Once a month, we get together for book club. The title of the September book is Culture Wars, The Threat to Your Family and Your Freedom by Marie, I think it would be Alina Castle. This will be on September 13th, 2 p.m. at the Books A Million on Kingston Pike. The public is invited to participate. You need not have read the book to attend, but of course it helps. Visit rationalists.org to find the rest of the calendar of the books. And once again, meet us at the new location, Books A Million, 8513 Kingston Pike, Knoxville, every second Sunday at 2 p.m.
Both the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee help provide a social outlet where you'll find that if you don't believe in Zeus, Zoroaster, or Yahweh,
You're not alone. I stepped over you.
You did.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
viewers, today we're speaking, doing a call-in with Jennifer Lovejoy, and the phone line is open. You can call the number on your screen and give us a question or Jennifer a question. And let's resume where we were.
Here we are, right here.
We're here. So I noticed in the introduction we read that you have a podcast called The Atheist Avengers. That sounds like fun. Can you summarize that?
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I've been podcasting for a couple of years now, and when I had the opportunity to have my own show, I wanted it to reflect my personality and things that interest me. So I knew it had to do something with either the Doctor or superheroes. And I thought costumes and being a superhero would be really fun. So I formed the Atheist Avengers. And when it started out, it was just me and my bestie, Poison Evie, doing some live shows with really bad sound quality. And so I asked another friend to get involved and be our producer. So now we have Wyatt Mathers. And I can say without a doubt he is the bestest podcast producer ever. But in addition to us being the Atheist Avengers, we started a humanist squad for the fans. And our little team
Did you say
growing.
humanist squad?
Yep, we have the humanist squad, and so our fans can actually join, and they can get a little card that says they're a member of the humanist squad.
Okay. I'm trying to picture what humanist squad means in this context.
Well, you know, because we're the Atheist Avengers, we have to have like our sidekicks, so that. And now I'm actually going to announce something very exciting here in just a second.
All right.
We keep joking we're now media moguls. No, seriously, we just formed, and I literally going to announce it here right now. Last night we finalized the name. We formed Reason Alliance Media, and within our group we've got a brand new podcast called Promoting Secular Feminism with host Misbehavin' and Amanda Wright.
Oh, misbehaving.
And Commander Wright?
Misbehavin' and Amanda Wright. I love it. The name
Is that,
they came up with.
I'm
But they deal with, they do, featured news stories, but they talk a lot about feminism, social issues, mansplaining. But I have to tell you the best part is they come with a mascot, and their mascot is called Princess Sparkle Farts.
all right.
Oh, I can almost picture that. Oh, my. Oh, gosh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, they're great, and in fact, their first podcast just came out. But we're excited to start this new Reason Alliance and really support other small podcasters. There's some amazing podcasts out there, and so it's nice to be able to offer support and to promote each other's podcasts.
All right, so for viewers and perhaps even maybe one of the hosts on our show who don't know necessarily what you mean by a podcast, this is not something where there's an audience, or is there? Do you have callers, or is it kind of a dialogue?
It depends on the show. With my show, in the beginning, it was live, and so we had callers call in and ask questions. Now we have a hotline they can call and leave a message, but because we have a producer and he's brilliant but very picky, he edits all of our shows so you get the best hour possible. But some of the other shows are live, and so basically a podcast is just an online radio show. And so for us, you go to atheistaventures.fm and you'll find all of our shows, and you can download them. You can listen to them live, on iTunes and Spreaker, and you name it, we're out there.
So, in terms of live calls, can you characterize for the viewers what's the spectrum of calls that you get?
With the type, sorry, you broke up a little bit. The types of calls we get?
Yeah, and illustrate the spectrum. I'm going to say kind of friendly and maybe not quite so.
It's funny. Most of the calls we get are fans, and they want to ask us either something about our personal lives, or they read something in the news and they want to know what our opinion is. Sometimes they just want to know what we're wearing, because I joke all the time on the podcast that I put on pants because we're not live, you can't see us, and so I always joke that they should be grateful. I put on pants before I showed up for work, and so we do get people who call and want to know what we actually wear when we're doing the show.
I love that you include humor in what you're doing. It really makes it sparkle, like sparkle farts, right?
Yes, like sparkle farts. I love that, Princess, sparkle farts. They need to come up with some mass-produced stuffed animal, because I think that's just brilliant. I would totally buy a Princess Sparkle Fart. I don't know what it looks like, but I would buy one.
I think I would too.
Well, that sounds like it would be a listener challenge to send in proposed designs.
Well, that's true.
Well,
I think humor is so important. Life is short, and we get not so happy things thrown at us.
Yeah.
And I think having a good sense of humor goes a long way. I think raising children really encourage a sense of humor, because when you're raising kids, if you can't laugh at all the crap they put you through, you're going to shrivel up in a ball and die.
right, or go insane. But
Or go insane, that's right.
But that actually makes me think of another question for you. In your work with atheist groups, what have you found to be your biggest challenge?
Getting people who commit to things to follow through.
Uh-huh.
It's like if we put together a festival or a conference or anything, people get really excited and they're motivated, but I find it really hard to get people to follow through. I can't tell you how many times that we've tabled for an event like a big event,
Mm-hmm.
something, a festival or something, and everybody says, yeah, let's do it. We need to get out there, and so get all the cabling supplies and the decorations, and then I wind up, it's me and my husband out there.
And Jennifer,
18 hours a day for 4 days.
Jennifer, when you say tabling, this would be, sitting at a table with literature to pass out, that kind of, is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yes, and I think tabling is one of the most easiest and best things that we, as atheist, humanist, secularist groups can do to let people in our area know that we're there.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically just sitting there with a smile on your face, and you're handing out free stuff. I always make sure I have candy, bubbles, I don't know, anything fun. If it happens to be an event at night, I always have like the glow bracelets or glow necklaces, just fun stuff. And then literature, pamphlets about the organization. I always like to have things about Camp Quest and, Secular Student Alliance, so depending on who comes up to the table, there's information for them. But, most of the time, tabling costs little to nothing. It's taking up your time, but yeah, everybody in the community gets a chance to see you. And I think that's important because too many people still have a misconception of what an atheist is.
Right.
And so when they see me with my pigtails sitting behind a table, probably wearing something very silly because I tend to, wear something fun when I'm out there. And, they come up to the table and we're smiling and we're happy. And even if they disagree with us, we can maintain positivity and answer questions. I think that goes further than a lot of other things that we do.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's a great idea. But I want to switch gears a little bit here, Jennifer. I mentioned in your introduction that you're a determined person. And recently, you have been determined to make a really big change in your life. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
And
You talking about my working out?
I'm talking about your working out.
Like going to the gym and killing myself every day?
Yeah, yeah, that.
I've been watching your Facebook page as well, and you're making me feel guilty.
I used to be 12, 15 years ago. I used to be in really, really good shape. I had a personal trainer. I worked out all the time. And, when my husband came home from Afghanistan, he was in a wheelchair for about a year. And I stopped going to the gym and was taking care of him. And every year I put on about 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens. And
Yeah.
Once you stop working out, it's really hard to convince yourself to get back into it. And so we moved to Myrtle Beach, and we started going to happy hour on a regular basis, eating out all the time, and drinking great beers and little fruity drinks. And in about a 4, 5, 6 month period, I put on 30 pounds. And I said, oh, no, that's not going to work. One, I don't want to have to buy all new clothes. But two, health-wise, that's not good. I'm getting older. I'm very menopausal. My metabolism's slowing down. I needed to do something. And so we're very fortunate. The gym is a mile from our house. And so we can walk to the gym in the morning, do a workout, and walk home. And I had made a couple of comments to some friends that were also trying to get into shape. And a lot of them told me some of them were really embarrassed to be at the gym. They would get the sideways glances because they were overweight. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to post pictures every day of me, like, sweaty, fat rolls kind of hanging out, the double chin sometimes. And I thought, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing it. I'm never going to look like a model. I'm not trying to. I'm doing it to be healthier. I want to live long enough to be a problem to my children.
Right.
Paybacks. And so, so I started posting these pictures. Met a wonderful woman at the gym who just moved here. Her and her fiance just moved here from somewhere up north. I can't remember now. And she has lost 60 or 80 pounds.
Wow.
And she was talking about that she was on Instagram. And so she friended me on Facebook, which, of course, I immediately accepted. And then I turned to my husband. I said, well, we're about to find out how open-minded they are. Because anybody who's been on my Facebook page knows I'm pretty out there on Facebook.
Yeah.
I thought, well, she's either going to avoid me at the gym or I found a new friend. And luckily for me, I found a new friend.
That's wonderful.
And so now she's also got me posting on Instagram. And honestly, the amount of positive feedback is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've had people message me and say, I've been putting off going to the gym, but I saw your pictures and say, you know what, screw it, I'm heading there now. And that motivates me to keep going. And but I did pick I picked this 5-week course that's killer. This week we're doing circuits. And so I pretty much crawled home today and was laying in bed all the way up until you called me.
Oh, I can imagine, because looking at the pictures, I can tell you are working out so hard. And then sometimes you post that you've been at the gym for 2 hours. And it's amazing. It really is.
So is this something you do as a husband and wife team?
We do. We go together.
All right.
And, my husband has been going already for several months, and he rides his bike. Before we started going to the gym, he was probably riding 15, 20 miles a day on his bike. And so he's, in fairly decent shape. The last few days we came home from the gym, he was like, you're killing me. He's like, I thought I was in good shape. I'm dying over here. He's all red-faced.
Well, you're lucky, too, because you have the beach right there, and you can walk on the beach. That's great exercise, too.
And we try to go at sunrise in the morning, because there's watching the sunrise here is amazing. When you look at the sun, it looks kind of yellowish orange, but in the mornings here when the sun comes up, it's just pink red.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so pretty. And, it's beautiful. You don't feel like you're exercising because you're watching the sunrise and the waves are flowing in. So you just feel like you're just out enjoying the view. But walking in the sand really makes your legs work and your core work a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you're not on a level terrain. And so, but we try to do that most mornings, and that's really nice. I thoroughly enjoy it. I haven't been as productive the last couple of weeks with these workouts because I'm really tired.
You're being productive on your health, right?
Yes. And, you know, I really haven't lost any weight per se, but I've lost already. I guess we've been at this for almost 5 weeks now, and I've already lost a couple inches in my waist.
Oh,
so
that's
fans that
great.
weren't fitting me before fitting me again. So
Well,
I feel good. Like, my posture looks better, and I feel stronger. And to me, that's the best part.
it is, and you said you don't look like a model, but I'm here to tell you, Jennifer, you are a model because you are a fabulous role model for everyone who's watching this journey.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
And the enthusiasm you bring to life is very memorable.
Well, thank you. Like I said, most of the feedback that I have gotten is really positive. One of my first pictures, or first few days of pictures, somebody commented "nice fat" on the picture, and they're from a different country. So in my head, I was like, well, maybe it's a cultural thing. I'm not sure. But I decided to leave their comment up there, and I replied with, of course I have nice fat. I don't have any mean fat. I'm not a mean person.
Oh, that's great.
And I was surprised at how many, I think I got more likes on that comment than I did on my actual picture. So, yeah.
Yeah, great comment too. Yeah.
I was looking through the questions and the reminders for questions here, and I realized there's one that I'd wanted to ask that we maybe jumped across. I see we've got a note here to ask about the affiliated groups of the American Atheist Alliance. I went to the page there, and there was close to 30 groups, and I'm wondering if you might comment on some of them.
On the groups themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for instance, the Rationalists of East Tennessee is on that group, and the kind of
Great group. Like that group.
We kind of think it's a good group.
and we go by the name of rationalists. I know there's groups on there though that use the atheist word and the agnostic word. There are some groups that shy away from certain words. So there's a spectrum there, and I was wondering if there's some things you might comment on, some that stand out that that you've interacted with that when we're just looking on the website we don't get a feel for.
Every group that I dealt with has been absolutely amazing. People are so passionate, and that's really inspiring. When I do a newsletter every month, and really, when I'm contacting the affiliate, I want to know what they're doing so I can put it on our website or put it on Facebook and promote what they're doing. And so many of them, especially the ones that are closer to where I'm at, so I can actually travel to, they invite me to their events, and I'll go and have drinks or dinner with people. And everybody's so enthusiastic. And that's always amazing to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to formulate what I mean by that, but it is. I mean, when you walk into a place, you walk into a group, a meeting, you don't know anybody there other than maybe you talk to them on Facebook or email, but you walk in and you sit down, and everybody's smiling and everybody's excited that you're there, and it motivates me to want to work harder for them. And I'm so excited because what I know is that every time somebody new moves to their area or finds them and shows up at those meetings, those people are going to get that same warm reception.
Right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's important for people to realize they're not alone in this community, and I think that's something that your groups are really doing.
They really are, and unfortunately, I have not gotten to visit all the groups yet. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to visit everybody.
Bucket list.
But I have met a lot of the leaders and stuff at regional conferences around the country. But living in the southeast, most of the groups that I've dealt with are more in this area. And so we've got the Hickory Humanist Alliance. We've got a Hickory, North Carolina, and my producer is actually the president of the Hickory Humanist Alliance. And so, and he does ReasonCon every year. And then we've got like Charlotte Atheist and Agnostics, which is another great group that are always out there in the community doing stuff. I'm always amazed. I try to join all the affiliates Facebook groups, so
Right.
I can kind of keep up with what's going on. Because again, I really want to promote what our affiliates are doing on a larger scale. So maybe if somebody's moving to that area, that kind of thing. But Charlotte, a huge group, and they always seem to have some fun function going on. If I liked big cities, that's probably. Well, I do like big cities. I like New York, but Charlotte's a little spread out to me. But if they would definitely be an area I would consider living group-wise.
I guess I was thinking that it would be interesting to maybe know the stories behind the formations of the various groups, with their specific events that nucleated them. The Rationalists of East Tennessee, I guess, is kind of a spin-off group from the Unitarian Church. And I don't actually know the complete, the origins of is it Humanists of the Secular Low Country or Secular Humanists of the Low Country, but they have a very charismatic person there in the form of Herb Silverman. Am I getting his name correct?
Yeah.
That has a fantastic story, and I suspect that group kind of built around his story and his effort to challenge a special place for the prohibition against non-believers holding public office.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we have oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny. I honestly really don't know the origin of any of these groups. I can tell you, like, what resources, they've requested. I can tell you which ones do more of, like, the bar meetup stuff and which ones do more, like, speakers. But, yeah.
All right, well, I've given you another assignment then. When next we speak, I'll ask this question.
That's actually a really good one. And one of the things that I just started was with our newsletters is featuring. I'm trying to feature one of our affiliates every month. And that's one of the things that I'm going to ask in the future is, how did your group, come together? What inspired your group to become a group? I think that'll be a really interesting thing to include in the newsletter. So thank you for that.
Well, Jennifer, we're coming near the end, and can we ask you to take 30 seconds and tell us something that you wish we'd asked you, tell the viewers something that we've forgotten? But anything you'd like to add?
Geez, something I wish you'd add. No, I think my bio pretty much covered my entire life.
All right.
Well, well, I was going to say it has been a treat to spend this hour with you. I think I've laughed more on this show than most any of the other shows I've done. And I really want to thank you for joining us.
All right.
I really appreciate you, y'all having me on and for having me speak at your event over the 4th of July weekend. You guys are an amazing group of people and a real inspiration to me. And I really appreciate all you do.
Well, thanks.
Right. And I've enjoyed speaking with you and remembering the times when we met some years in the past. But it is time.
Back in the day.
It is time to start wrapping things up. So viewers, get out your pen and paper. This has been Freethought Forum, a program by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee. I'm Faithless Forrest.
And I'm Alita. Please send us your feedback. Leave voicemail at 865-272-9060 or email us at freethoughtforum@yahoo.com.
You can see this show on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on this Knoxville station and at approximately 2100 Greenwich Mean Time at ctvknox.org.
We would like to thank our viewers and send our thanks to Sam and Carl and Jonas for technical support, to the staff of CTV Knox, and to all of our callers.
Nuns, those who identify with no religion, are the fastest growing religious group in America. Right here in East Tennessee, the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee are places where you can find fun and fellowship. Remember,
You are not alone.